Grace and peace to those who do the will of our Father Yahweh in heaven. So I had created this chart for a video that I just uploaded yesterday on one of my other channels. And I'm going to take more time in this video to go over what's listed here. In the video that I put up yesterday, I didn't really go through each of these dates and point out to you the chapters that I have listed where you can check for yourself and verify those things are true. But in this video, I'm going to do that, and hopefully I have enough space to record this. My computer, I need a new computer. It's running out of memory, so it kind of limits how much I can record. So here we have a breakdown of the 400-year prophecy that is found in Genesis chapter 15, verse 13 through 14. And since we have we're on Genesis 15:3. Since we have these dates, or these, not these dates, but these chapters and verses listed, we'll just go through each of them to show you that they really say what I say that they say. And so the prophecy is 13. I'm on 3. Okay, 13. Make sure I got that right on the chart too. Yep, 15, 13 through 14. Starting here, and we'll read down to here. And he said unto Abraham, and this is the Most High, Yah, God, or if you prefer. And he said unto Abraham, know of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. And also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge, and afterward they shall come out with great substance. So this was not fulfilled in Egypt. And this chart will break down and explain to you why it wasn't. Because when you actually go through and read, this is what they don't expect anybody to do, and for the most part nobody ever has. When you do go through and count up the years that each person lived and when they moved here and when they moved there, you would know that it's not 400. And the verse that causes a lot of confusion is Exodus 12:40, because the Masoretic text leaves out and in the land of Canaan. But if you go to the much older Septuagint and read it, it still has in Canaan in there. And so it reads, and the dwelling of the children of Israel, which they dwelt in the land of Egypt and in the land of Canaan, was 430 years. When you read that, there's no confusion there. You understand that prophecy, that Exodus 12:40 is not saying that Genesis 15:13 through 14 was fulfilled. It's not saying that. In fact, it's telling you that it's only telling you that they were in Canaan and in Egypt for 430 years. But it doesn't say what part of Egypt they were in for what specified amount of time. Anyway, let's move on here. Isaac is born when Abraham, no, I skipped one, right? I skipped 2. I didn't read this one yet. So Yah makes a promise to Abraham, and that happens in Genesis 15, verse 13 through 18. So we already read 13. Now we can go down and we can go to, I started 15. And thou shalt go to thy fathers in peace, and thou shalt be buried in good old age. But in the 4th generation they shall come hither again, or they shall come to this place again. Also showing you that he was in Canaan when he gave Abraham that promise. So when he said they would be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, is not speaking of Canaan, because they were in Canaan when they were having that talk. For the iniquity of the Amorites is not yet full, so they will come back here again. And it came to pass that when the sun went down and it was dark, behold a smoking furnace and a burning lamp that passed between those pieces. And verse 18, and in the same day the Lord made a covenant with Abram, saying, unto thy seed have I given this land, from the river of Egypt unto the great river, the river Euphrates. Now he made the covenant in Genesis 15:18. And also he said, unto thy seed have I given, not will I give, no, have I given, past tense. That means that the land of Canaan, where they were speaking, is their land. It is not a land that is not theirs. So this land, Canaan, versus a land that is not theirs. Okay, so back to our chart here. We saw that covenant made in Genesis 15:18. So Abraham dwelled 10 years in Canaan. And here he is 86 when Ishmael is born. So that is verse 16. So let's go to 16:3 first to prove that he was actually in Canaan for 10 years. Verse 3. And Sarai, Abram's wife, took Hagar, her handmaid, or her maid, the Egyptian, after Abram had dwelt 10 years in the land of Canaan. So after he dwelt 10 years, Sarai gave to him Hagar, the maid, for her to be his wife. And then he went in unto Hagar, and she conceived. And then down here in verse 16, it tells us, and Abram was 86 years old when Hagar bare Ishmael to Abram. So he was 86 years old when he, what do you call the word? What's the word? Begot Ishmael. And that was after 10 years of dwelling in the land of Canaan. So 10 years in the land of Canaan, he's 86, Ishmael is born. So, from 10 years, he's 86, and now we skip ahead some more years to when he is 100. So the process, it's about 24 to 25 years passing. And now he's 100 and Isaac is born. That is in Genesis 21:5. So let's just do this. Genesis 21. So about 24 to 25 years later, let's see here. Where did I say it was? Which verse? 5. Okay. All right. And Abraham circumcised his son Isaac, being 8 days old, as God commanded him. And Abram was 100 years old when his son Isaac was born unto him. He was 100 years, so 25 years, or 24 to 25 years have passed since the promise was made. Now, Jacob is born when Isaac is 60. So skip ahead 60 more years. So Genesis 25, verse 26. Genesis 25, verse 26. What was it? Where was it? There it is. And after that came out his brother, and his hand took hold on Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob. And Isaac was 80 years old when he bare them. When she bare them, I was say they don't. I said, wait a minute, what? So when she bare them, so his wife, wasn't the wife's name? Man, why am I forgetting? Was it Rachel? Rebecca? Rachel? Rebecca. Okay, Rebecca. Yeah. So when Rebecca bare, where was I? Okay, here we go. And Isaac was 80 years old when Rebecca bare them. So 60 years old. All right, so after we skipped ahead, so now we are past 400. Let's say if they had to live in the land of Egypt, right, for 400 years, and there was only 430 years between the promise and the Sinai covenant, we would already be inside of that 400 years, because 430 minus 60, you only get 370. So this is the 370 point right here. We're 30 years under 400. They're not in Egypt yet. So already the prophecy is not fulfilled. So, let's see here. How many years pass now? Joseph is sold and serves in Egypt. So I included that. I didn't put the date there because it wasn't one of the pivotal moments. But I included that just in case somebody wanted to say, well, Joseph was in Egypt before the other Israelites went to Egypt. Okay, well, he was 17 when he was sold to the Ishmaelites and taken to Egypt. So Genesis 37:2. Genesis 37:2. And Jacob dwelt in the land wherein his father was a stranger, and in the land of Canaan. These are the generations of Jacob, Joseph being 17 years old. He was 17. And what's the next verse? 41:46. I'm going to do it this way. 41:46. So was it 46? Was it 36? I don't think it was. Oh, there it is, 46. And Joseph was 30 years old when he stood before Pharaoh, king of Egypt. And Joseph went out from the presence of Pharaoh. So from the age of 17 to the age of 30, you could say Joseph was afflicted in Egypt. And even he was in prison, so you could probably say that he was even made to serve, probably. He was serving in Potiphar's house as well. So that's about 13 years. So you could add that and say, you could include that. But the reason why I would not is because, like it says at verse 30, he wasn't in a position of being afflicted and serving anymore. Now he was actually a governor. He was a man of high status and wealth. And he even says, and he even says where that he was, where was it? I don't even know. I don't remember exactly where this is at, but he says that the Most High or God or Yah has made him forget all of his toil. I don't, that might be in the next chapter. Oh, here it is, right here. Okay, so Joseph called the name of the firstborn Manasseh, for God, said he, hath made me forget all my toil in all my father's house. So he had forgotten all about all the affliction he went through. So at this point, from this point on, he's not being afflicted. And this is before Jacob and the Israelites come to Egypt. So you could say that he was afflicted there for 13 years, but already we're inside the 400. So they were in the land of Canaan, like the word says, I have given this land to your seed, and this is your land. So Abraham dwelled 10 years in Canaan. Yes, he was a stranger there. He was not from there, but Yah said, this is your land. And so Jacob is 130 when he moves to Egypt. That is in Genesis 47:9. I sure hope people are following me. I know I ramble. I don't have a script, so when I don't have a script, it gets really, really messy. Really messy. Well, okay, so Jacob said unto Pharaoh, the days of the years of my pilgrimage are 150 130 years. So he is 130 years old, because Pharaoh asked him how old he was. Yeah, there you go. How old art thou? And then Jacob answers, 130. Excuse that yawn. So Jacob dies and the Israelites flourish in Egypt. So there's a point in time where, again, this is why I don't include the 13 years that Joseph was afflicted, because after Jacob moves and all the Israelites come and they're under Joseph, because he's the governor there, he's reigning, they're living pretty nice, they they're growing, the population is booming, and they're doing pretty good. Now, here's where things get rough. So now Joseph dies. This is 71 years after Jacob dies. Joseph dies 71 years later at the age of 110. So 284 to 285 years have passed since Yah made the promise to Abraham. 284 to 285 years. And now there has to be time for a new king, which knew not Joseph, to arise and to say, hey, these Israelites are more and mightier than we are. And I didn't go to Genesis 50:26 to prove that that's what that said. So that new Pharaoh he needs time to actually not know who Joseph is, and to afflict the Israelites. And let's see here. So Joseph died being 110 years old, and they embalmed him, and he was put in a coffin in Egypt. Okay, so now there is only a period of 146 to 145 years. I wonder why. I'm trying to remember why I put I think it's because I was counting backwards. But anyway, 145 to 146 years wherein they actually could have been afflicted and made to serve or be made slaves. Now that Joseph is gone, the new Pharaoh arises. That is in Exodus 1:8. So we are out of Genesis. We are now in Exodus. So now there arose up a new king over Egypt, which knew not Joseph. He said unto his people, behold, the people of the children of Israel are more and mightier than we. Come on, let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply, and it come to pass that when there falleth out any war, they join also unto our enemies and fight against us. So get them up out of the land. So therefore did they set over them taskmasters to afflict them with their burdens. I hate when this does that. All right, there you go. They put taskmasters to afflict them. So we see that the affliction starts after Joseph dies. Accidentally pushed that button. The affliction starts after Joseph dies. So that is 285 years after the promise. There's only 430 years. So affliction begins. Then the covenant at Sinai. I quoted Galatians. I probably could have put the actual chapter and verse for when they made the Exodus, but I quoted Galatians because Galatians is the one that says, I can actually go back to this screenshot right here. Galatians is what actually says, and this I say, that the covenant that was confirmed before of God in Christ, the law, which was 430 years after, cannot disannul. So the covenant was 430 years after the promise. Oh, what am I doing? I'm meant to go here. 430 years after. And you see by this chart, there was not 400 years of being enslaved and afflicted in Egypt, because there was only 430 years total that they were from the promise to the covenant. So I hope that is clear, and I will, No, I don't have to give you the chart. You can actually look at it. So I was thinking about posting the link to it or whatever, but you can all take a screenshot or whatever and write these things down. So thank you all for listening. And again, I hope I was able to get the point across clearly. May our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, Yahweh Shai, bless you.